What's up, it's your boy Reemus, and this video is for the people who want a better understanding between the male and the female dynamic. And today I'm going to be reviewing / summarizing a book called The Science of Attraction by Shane Smith. It's Unwinding the Female Code. This is a very important book. This is a book that many men need, because it hits into place the truths between the dynamics of the genders, and speaks about what you're going to need, especially as a man, if you want to attract women into your life, right? So overall, we're going to talk about this almost as in the same way that an Amazon review would be, right? So we're going to speak about, what the overview is. Okay, so the premise of this book is basically that there's a code. Just like how there's softwares, there's computers, and if you punch in a certain code into the software of a computer, you'll get a certain result. For you as a man, that result that you want is attraction. You want to be able to attract a girl, keep a female into your life, keep her attracted in the best way possible. That's why people are watching all of these videos about high value men and all of this stuff, or the red pill. When you look at it, when you go deep, it's really because women want to understand men want to understand women better so they can get them. So one thing I learned in this book is nature has a plan, and I'm looking at my notes as I read this, right? Nature has a plan, and this plan was imprinted into us when we was first born. Nature has a plan that's imprinted into us as we're being created in the womb. This means our DNA has literally imprinted us with instructions on how to be a man, and if you're a woman, how to be a woman. And if you want to get a woman, you need to understand that you need to follow the instructions from the DNA, but not the instructions from society, which is making you go in the opposite direction. And that's one thing that he talks about in this book. Her attraction to you is her exhibiting nature's plan. That's the notes I took on what I've learned from this book. Her attraction to you is her carrying out nature's plan. So, for example, when a woman leaves a guy in a divorce, and the divorce gets very messy, it gets very almost cold, because we know men can go through hard times when they're being divorced, and the man would be confused. He's like, "Yo, we've been in love. Like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like this?" She's gonna be cold in that moment because nature doesn't see any benefit for her to keep continuing what's going on. So she has the ability to just cut herself off. Right? You're able to understand situations like that better if you get a book like this and you understand that code in woman. If you move from that plan that nature has for her, you will pay for it, which is kind of what I just said, right? Whether you call her your girlfriend or not, nature doesn't know those labels. It's one thing that he puts repeatedly in this book. Nature doesn't care if you call her your girlfriend or your wife. Nature doesn't know those labels because those are social labels that we have created. Nature only knows, are you the best candidate for her genes to continue on? We're machines that are basically looking at the genetic potential of another person. This is what I've learned from this book, and that mechanism is always in play. So every day you will be judged, and if you fail, her body will move her onto a new person. Every day, by everyone, you are being judged based on your survival value as a man and your ability to ensure nature's objectives of immortality. So this book really opened my eyes to the fact that when you think about it, we are descendants of people who came before. We had the same genes as those people who came before, but really it's us just being vehicles for the genes to just continue on. Like, my consciousness might just be might just be a byproduct, but really the actual most important thing for this whole biological machine is that the genes itself continue on. I'm just a passenger experiencing this stuff. So it makes sense that the machine has its own code, has its own software, has its own instructions, because it doesn't care about me specifically. It cares about continuing itself on, and so does the woman. So I need to communicate on a genetic level that I'm the best source for her to take her packet of information, which is her DNA, take it with my packet of information and DNA, bring it together so we can continue on. And if I'm a good fit, I'll have a son or a daughter who also is going to increase the chances of that offspring continuing on the process of genes. So nature does not care about the social engineered code. It doesn't care about the social engineered code, the friend zone, her displaying signals to other men of her being available, like let's say she's flirting with other men, and you failing tests are all conscious manifestations of nature's tests. So every day she has to test you on your value as a man. If you're with her, she's selective, so she has to care about you being the best option for her. The goal for her is to find a safe haven for her genes to reside in. And does nature trust you with the person who's strong enough to continue the genes on for immortality? So it really brings on the urgency of this matter, which is a relationship. When you see people, they're just like, oh yeah, I'm in love, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna go to the cinema, and yeah, oh my god, why did you cheat on me? But I did everything for you. I did everything. We trusted each other. We had good time. I met your mom. You introduced me to your mom. Why did you cheat on me? And on a social level, that makes sense to people. Like, yeah, she's so evil. She cheated on him. How could she do that? But on a genetic level, it makes perfect sense that she cheated, actually, because he wasn't representing the best value for survival. She wasn't getting the best bang for her buck, you could say. If you're not leading, there's another thing I've learned reading the notes. If you are not leading, she is not yours. And as nature does not deem you trustable enough for her to be, and nature doesn't trust you enough for her to be placed in your hands. It's a lie to believe a woman is into you if you supplicate and appease her. If you're a man but you're not leading her, you're not actually her man. You know, and you're most likely not a man because you're not being a man, right? So if you don't lead her, she still has that thing in her that still needs leadership from a man, so she's still going to search for it. So she's not actually your man, she's someone else's. Even if she hasn't met that guy, she's still free, she's still available, and that's why she's going to keep showing her availability to other men. This is another thing I've learned in the book. Much of the lies in the social code, so for example the social rules and things that people like your parents, media, your friends will tell you, much of these lies are directly in conflict with nature's code. It is made clear what this book makes very clear what women really want, and not what the social code would have you believe. Human consciousness cannot downplay the genetic code. And that's the end of the notes that I wrote. Let's just go through. Yeah, so these are the things that I learned in this book, and these are the things that every man should know if he wishes to get with a woman, because this genetic instructions that she's getting is always in play, whether you know it or not, whether your parents, whether her parents, whether she herself knows it or not. She's running on this thing, right? And you need to know this if you're going to be with a man, because a woman, because it's dangerous if you are with her and you don't know this stuff, because when she does certain things, you're not going to know the reason why, and you're not going to be able to lead in the right way. So I'm gonna be doing a few other videos on stuff I've learned from this book, more specific topics, so check those ones out, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.